Hello, this is about the Maharashtra 2024 state assembly elections. But no, this is not about EVMs. This is not about some stories of EVM malfunction or how some EVMs have been manipulated. This is about real facts, data, an analysis to point out some mysterious patterns and trends in the Maharashtra state election. As you know, the parliament elections were held in India in May all over the country, including in Maharashtra. Just 6 months later, in November, there was a state election, assembly election in Maharashtra. As per the Election Commission's data, there were 9.3 crore registered voters in Maharashtra for the parliament election. But just 6 months later, for the state assembly election, there were 9.7 crore registered voters. A sudden jump of nearly 40 lakh voters in less than 6 months. Is that possible? Let us compare 2019 elections when again parliament and state assembly elections were held with 6 months apart. In 2019, between the parliament election and state assembly election, there was an increase of just 12 lakh new voters. How come there were 40 lakh new voters in 2024? Is it possible that the number of new voters in a state like Maharashtra will increase with every election cycle? No. Because a developed state like Maharashtra, the population growth is been slowing, which means with every election cycle, the number of new voters that are added will only come down, not go up. This is what happened between 2014 and 2019, when the number of new voters added in Maharashtra between Lok Sabha and state election went from 27 lakhs in 2014 to 12 lakhs in 2019. It came down. Then how come suddenly in 2024, when population growth is declining, the number of new voters suddenly went up to 40 lakh? What is even more shocking is that in the 5 years between 2019 and 24, there were only 32 lakh new voters added to the rolls in Maharashtra. In 5 years, 32 lakh. But in less than 6 months, 40 lakh new voters were added in Maharashtra. Is this not very surprising? Then the next questions that come to mind automatically are, who are these new voters? Were they residents of Maharashtra? Were these new voters added across all the constituencies or only in some specific constituencies? To answer some of these questions conclusively, we need data of assembly-wise electoral rolls from the Election Commission for both Parliament and the state elections. The EC, Election Commission, somewhat suspiciously refuses to provide this data. It is important to note that the same EC has made this data available for other states, many other states, but not for Maharashtra. But let us try and answer some of these questions using other data that is available. The last population census, official population census, was held in 2011, which gave the official population of Maharashtra age-wise. Now, anyone born after 2011 in Maharashtra would not be eligible to vote in 2024 because they would not be 18 years of age yet. So for our purposes, 2011 census is a good starting point. If we assume that anyone who was 5 years and above in 2011, they will be now 18 years or more in 2024, which means they will be eligible to vote. So as per this, the total eligible voter population in Maharashtra is 10.1 crore in 2024. It is very likely that the total eligible voter population in reality will be less than 10 crores because we are assuming nobody has died, we are assuming nobody has left the state, and even if we include some people who have come in, including all migration. But the Election Commission says there were 9.7 crore registered voters in the state election. How did the Election Commission manage to register nearly 100% of all the population that are 18 and above in Maharashtra? Is that possible? In every other state, the Election Commission only registers roughly 85 to 90% of eligible voters. How do they do 100% in Maharashtra? Or is it more the case that these new 40 lakh voters are not really residents of Maharashtra, or they came from or they were brought in from other states, or maybe they were just fake voters? This is for the Election Commission to prove. How did these new voters enroll themselves? Did they submit Aadhaar cards or proof of identity? Were those identity checked? Did they fill Form 7? Can EC provide these forms as proof? Here is another interesting fact. Not only were there 40 lakh new voters added mysteriously in less than 6 months, but somehow all these new voters came out and voted on election day. According to the Election Commission, 75 lakh more Maharashtrians came out and voted in state assembly elections compared to the Lok Sabha election held 6 months ago. Again, this is a huge increase compared to previous election cycles in Maharashtra. In 2019, for example, only 10 lakh more votes were polled in the assembly election compared to the Lok Sabha election. Then how is it that not only were a huge number of new voters registered in Maharashtra between Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha state election, but there was also a big increase in the number of total votes polled in just 6 months, where all these voters added just so that they can all come out and vote for one particular party or alliance? You can then ask, were all these voters added across all the constituencies or were they only in specific constituencies? We don't have a clear answer for this because the EC, Election Commission, refuses to provide the data. But we do know that somehow magically in 118 constituencies, there has been a sudden jump in the total number of votes polled, which is more than 25,000 or more votes were polled in 118 constituencies in the state election compared to the parliament election held 6 months ago. But not so surprisingly, the BJP alliance won 90%, 102 out of these 118 constituencies in the state election. But in the parliament election held just 6 months ago, they won only 58. These are facts. This is information that is made available in public, and we have done the analysis to show some very mysterious trends. This is not about coming up with conspiracy theories